Do you want to get a tortoise, but you're not sure what kind of tortoise you want to get? Well, don't think about that anymore. In today's video, I'm going to go over what I personally think is the best pet tortoise for any reptile keeper. Stick around. When it comes to picking the specific tortoise that you think is the best for you, there's a lot of factors that you got to include. Environmental, what your area is in terms of temperature and weather around you is, or climate, as well as financial. It's a lot of money to take care of a tortoise, or what you can provide for these animals so that they can live the best lives that they can. You also need to consider things like how much space do you have? Do you have the means and amount of possible storage to keep their supplies as well as the animal itself? Now, there is tons and tons and tons and tons of tortoises out there that you can get. You have things like leopard tortoises, you got sulcata tortoises, you have redfoot tortoises, pancake tortoises, Greek tortoises, and each one of them all have their own specific needs. In my opinion, the one tortoise that I think can go good for anybody, especially for beginner tortoise keepers, is none other than Testudo hermannii, or the Hermann's tortoise. Now, a couple of reasons why I believe the Hermann's tortoise is probably the best pet tortoise for most people to have. One, because of their size. This right here is an adult male Hermann's tortoise that I have. The females do get a little bit larger, however, they are still a much smaller tortoise to keep, especially in captivity. With them being smaller tortoises, you clearly will not need a lot more space as you would, let's say, a leopard tortoise or a sulcata tortoise. Now, again, when it comes to tortoises, they are not like, let's say for example, ball pythons where people can keep them in racks. Tortoises need a lot of space no matter what the size. However, smaller tortoises obviously won't need a stuff that is as big as, let's say, a sulcata tortoise. Hermann's tortoises can be kept in a much smaller area and be happy in those areas as well. Another thing to consider when it comes to owning tortoises is how much does it cost initially for the animal itself. Things like pancake tortoises, which are a little bit more rare in some people's eyes, can cost things of $400 plus. However, a hatchling Hermann's tortoise, at least for the eastern variant, you can get them for about $180 or even a little bit cheaper than that, which is great pricing for a young tortoise. Now, this video is being recorded in November of 2023. The pricing of the Hermann tortoise hatchling, about $180, is what I mostly typically see. Is subject to change. We are in a changing economy at all times, so do not, if you're watching this video 3 years from 2023, the price is probably going to be very much cheaper, and I'm going to say it's probably going to be a lot different than what it is right now. However, when it comes to owning a Hermann's tortoise and you want to initially buy one, their price point is not too high for a specific type of tortoise. Now, you can get things like redfoot tortoises, which are only $120 for a hatchling in most cases. However, those prices all have different values to them. Something else you need to consider when it comes to owning a Hermann's tortoise is, what is the plan for when that animal eventually outlives you? This is not something we all even think about, and I'm even guilty of this as well. I haven't figured out a plan. A lot of my animals are gonna probably live longer than I am. What am I gonna do when I'm no longer able to take care of them? Well, you gotta figure out how you're gonna donate them, maybe pass it on to a relative who's gonna take care of them, or possibly find a reputable source that can take these animals for when you're no longer able to. Life happens, situations happen where you're no longer gonna be able to have these animals, and stuff like that could make you lose money. And if you're losing money, you gotta find out how you're gonna take care of your animal in that way. So having a backup plan for the Hermann's tortoise is obviously crucial, as it is with any reptile. But when it comes to owning tortoises, you gotta keep in mind they are most likely gonna outlive you given the proper care. Now, the final reason why I think the Hermann's tortoise makes the best pet tortoise, not only because of their small size, their ease of care, is because of their personality. These tortoises are super outgoing, very active animals. They are constantly, anytime I'm running into the reptile room, they are looking out, waiting for food, trying to get out and see what I'm up to. These animals are extremely personable, and they just make excellent pets in my opinion. Now, of course, there's gonna be varying opinions from multiple different people on what is actually the best pet tortoise. This is just one that I personally think, in my own opinion, is the best one for anybody who is a reptile keeper to start with, or even someone who's been doing this for years. Hermann's tortoises, they're great in my opinion. awesome animals, a lot of personality, and not too expensive as compared to other animals to acquire.